Now that the Denver Broncos have set their initial 53-man roster, it's time for the team to turn their attention to building their 16-man practice squad. Once players pass through waivers, they can be re-signed to the practice squad immediately. Sean Payton said that by the time they practice tomorrow afternoon, they will hopefully have their 16-man practice squad set. So, I'm going to give my best crack at predicting the 16-man practice squad, but in reality, I'm probably not going to get it very accurately because some of these guys might not pass through waivers. They might get claimed by other teams. Additionally, the Broncos might find other players who pass through waivers from other teams that they really like. So, this practice squad is definitely subject to change, but these are the guys from the Broncos roster that I would like back on the practice squad, and hopefully we get them back. We're not going to get all of them back realistically, but let's go ahead and bring in the document here. So, we'll go ahead and start off with Sam Ehlinger. I think that they're going to bring him back, assuming he doesn't find another opportunity out there. He's a vested veteran. That means he doesn't have to pass through waivers. Same thing with Adam Prentice, Calvin Throckmorton, and Sam Franklin, who I have on the practice squad as well. Ehlinger might have another opportunity, though, to join a 53-man roster. He'd take that all day long. If that happens, Denver might have to look towards the waiver wire to fill this QB3 role. You're going to need a quarterback 3 in some capacity, be it practice squad or active roster. It's obviously going to be practice squad. So if it's not Sam Ehlinger, it's going to need to be somebody else. You're going to need an emergency third quarterback. Additionally, you're going to need somebody for scout team reasons. So whoever this third quarterback's going to be it Sam Ehlinger or somebody else, they're going to be on the practice squad no matter what. I do have Audric Estime, assuming he passes through, making the practice squad. Blake Watson, he's injured. The Broncos have waived him with an injury settlement, but they could bring him back once he gets healthy and after 3 weeks have passed. Then they can bring him in. So maybe they ride things out without a running back on the practice squad and just ride it out with the 4 guys they have. But if not, I think they could bring Audric Estime back. But if there's somebody else on the waiver wire, I think Denver could go in that direction as well. Adam Prentice, as a vested vet, I have him making it. And it was announced today that, unfortunately, Michael Burton is going on the season-ending IR with a hamstring injury. He had surgery on it. You got Nate Atkins, who's still dealing with an injury, so Adam Prentice is going to fill the fullback role for the Broncos. He can be elevated up to 3 times from the practice squad, and by the time he's out of elevations, that correlates to Nate Atkins' return, who can fill the hybrid tight end fullback role. If there's somebody else out there that the Broncos like, for example, Carson Steele, he was waived by the Chiefs, and he was playing a hybrid fullback running back role. Maybe the Broncos want to go in that direction. Otherwise, they can get Prentice on the practice squad immediately. I would not be surprised at all if they went in that direction. I have them bringing back 2 undrafted wide receivers, Joaquin Davis and Courtney Jackson. I'm crossing my fingers that Courtney Jackson passes through waivers. He was one of those guys that just barely missed the cut for the 53. So if Denver can get him back, that would be absolutely incredible. He brings game-breaking speed. He's got a long-term future potentially as a return specialist in the NFL. I love Courtney Jackson. I'm bummed that they didn't get him on the 53. Hopefully they can get him back on the practice squad. Caleb Lohner and Caden Priestcorn, I think that they're both realistically going to make it through waivers. Priestcorn might get claimed. I don't think Lohner's going to get claimed unless there's some team out there that wanted to get him as an undrafted free agent. I know Indy was in on him, but Indy's got a pretty loaded tight end room right now, so I don't know if they're going to go in that direction. Maybe there's some other team out there, but regardless, I think you're going to get one of them back, but hopefully you can get both of them. Offensive linemen, I have them bringing back Xavier Truss. He might not get through waivers. Same thing with Clay Webb. He might not get through either just because of the raw talent. They had draftable grades as players, so we'll see what happens. And then Calvin Throckmorton, another vested vet, doesn't have to pass through waivers. You can get him back immediately. So I think Calvin Throckmorton is definitely in line to come back on the practice squad. He'll probably be elevated on game day in the event that Denver needs depth on the interior offensive line. I really like the nose tackle Jordan Miller as a bigger bodied guy on the interior defensive line. I'd like to bring him back. If not him, somebody else who fits that body type. Garrett Nelson, the edge rusher, he's not somebody I initially had, but according to reports, the Broncos really like him as a long-term special teams guy, so they want to get him back on the practice squad. Lavelle Bailey, oh man, that's another one that I'm crossing my fingers that he passes through waivers. Sean Payton indicated the reason why they kept Corinne Reed was because he wasn't going to make it through. Somebody would have claimed him. Hopefully, Lavelle Bailey makes it. He's another one of those ones that just kind of makes me concerned that he's not going to. Jordan Turner, it's kind of the same thing. If we could get back one or the other here between Lavelle Bailey and Jordan Turner, I'd be happy. If we got both of them back, I would be over the moon. I know that Broncos country is ready to move on from Damari Mathis, and it's very possible that Damari wants to move on as well and get a change of scenery, but I think they should bring him back on the practice squad. He's solid depth, had a really good training camp. Denver tried to trade him. There was nothing that materialized from it, but he's going to pass through waivers no problem, I feel like. So bring in Damari Mathis' depth. It makes sense. Otherwise, they could bring another corner off of the waiver wire. We'll see what happens there. And then Sam Franklin as a vested veteran, I have him coming back. I think that he is solid special teams depth, but he wasn't quite what the Broncos thought he was as a gunner, and he ultimately ended up getting cut, but I think he is going to be back on the practice squad. So that's my best shot at a 16-man practice squad. Additionally, Jeremy Crawshaw no longer carries the international exemption tag. I don't know if since they already had Crawshaw and he made the 53, does Denver still have to go out and get another international guy? We'll find that out in due time if they bring in another international guy. Otherwise, Jeremy Crawshaw made it. Maybe that accomplished the goal of at least one team having to have an international guy, I should say, on their 53-man roster. So we'll see what happens with that situation if they bring in another international guy or not. Alright guys, be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell. And let me know in the comment section below, guys, are there any guys that I might have missed here that you would want to bring back on the practice squad? Let me know down below. Alright guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.